raised our family about 10 miles from here. And we had a lakefront property in Saint Hippolyte. And when we divorced, my wife moved to Saint Adele. I bought this house in Prévost, and we're best of friends still. And I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. We grew up in Montreal North. We walked to school 10 blocks, took the bus to high school, and it was a very French, Italian, and Anglophone split of cultures. When I was a kid, there was a rivalry. It wasn't deliberate, but what happens is when you don't speak French and they don't speak English, you naturally, there's confrontations that happen. So I spent 2 years at Vanier College. So I got a job with the Royal Bank, and the Royal Bank had a manager who was being transferred up to Fairmont, Quebec. And when the Royal Bank closed the branch down, because they were just a temporary branch, it was in a trailer. So when they closed that down, they said, okay, we're going to transfer you back to Chateauguay, where I was. And I said, no, I'm going to stay here and work for the construction company. It was quite ideal, because the construction company, all the executives, all the managers, the controllers, they were all Anglophones from all over the world. And so the payroll, even the manager was fluently bilingual, and we worked in English, but all the workers were French. So when I went out there, I was a paymaster. I had to go out and hire people. I had to have people that have their arranged for their flights. I picked them up at the airport, and they were all 80 or 90% unilingual francophones from all the small towns in Quebec. So I learned French with an immersion there. Actually, I met a girl there, and she was from Toronto, and I was from Montreal, and we were both all leaving at the same time. And I decided to go to Toronto with her. So we got an apartment there. I was quite comfortable in Toronto, but it just wasn't home for me. I just knew home was Quebec. So I packed everything up, came back to Quebec, went back to Dawson College, took electronics, and got a job at QAHN. And so I worked as a QAHN technician for 33, 34 years. This town of Shawbridge was very, very heavily English at one time, and I've seen it diminish myself. It's going down all the time. Our church, actually, we used to be like 20, 25 people, and we started a Boy Scout, Girl Guides, choir. We did food baskets. We still have food basket ministries. So it was very, very active, busy. We had a lot of francophones coming into our church. So when there was francophones there, we'd have prayers in French, we'd have hymns in French, and we'd do both. But now all the kids are grown up and moved away, and I used to be one of the younger. Now I'm one of the older. But the church was thriving. But right now it's on a low for the Anglophones in this area. But we're still here. When I'm living in this area, I am virtually a francophone. I'll be talking in French to all my French friends. And then I see a guy across 3 or 4 seats over from me who's an Anglo friend of mine. And I say, hey, Terry, how's it going? And he'll go, hey, Bob, what's up? We do blah, blah. And then some guy will go, oh, Quebec, c'est en français. Oh, my God. You know, like we're just talking out in public. Quebec develops a culture of disrespect. When the government makes rules saying you're not allowed to show respect by saying bonjour, hi, you want to say hi, it's only to show respect. So when you make a law against respect, you develop a culture of disrespect. And you can have culture and respect for other cultures at the same time. You don't have to put other cultures down and be disrespectful to grow your own culture. Ever since the English-French controversy started, and they would suggest that, well, 51% want to do this or 51% want to do this, I always thought it was just wrong. You know, this is a major issue where our lives, our roots and everything. So for 51%, you can't just take my passport away, my rights as a Canadian, because you have 51%. One of the strongest motivators I had going through those times was the language laws. And I thought it was just totally wrong to make laws against the sound that comes out of your mouth. And I really cannot stand it when people say, or Francophones will say, "Oh, you could just move to Ontario. We can't." Well, what? They're talking like as if we're in a cinema, and you can just go to the next cinema. And they talk about Anglophones. "Oh, you could just go somewhere else. You can move to Ontario. You can't just move out." Well, many did, but it was painful. So to me, it's so arrogant and for people to even suggest, "Oh, you could just go somewhere else." I have a sister that moved. My parents actually even moved, and I have one sister on the South Shore. So for the longest time, we paid the price. I decided to stay. I totally belong. This is my home, and I totally belong here. And I even tell my sisters maybe they should move back. And I grew up here. I've been to the Laurentians. I've been all over Quebec. Well, the world we have around us is us, and it's a reflection of who we are. Now that this language issue has come up again, it's going to get hashed out, and I'm totally optimistic that more and more people are becoming bilingual. More and more people are speaking both languages, and you become accustomed, and you can switch from one to the other. I hear so many conversations where they're actually switching from one language to the other because they're both comfortable in both. And the more the Francophones learn English, the more comfortable they will be also, and not feel isolated. So definitely, the more bilingualism grows, the more less strife and less problems we're going to have, and the Quebec culture will do fine, regardless of what sound comes out of their mouths. And to thrive even as a Quebec, as a country, even you have to show respect. You can't be narrow-minded and closed. So being open, educating, it'll solve all the problems. And Quebec is actually, I think, the greatest place on the planet.